Hey, what's up? You're the first one in here. Just working on my shop, doing some recycling of some wood and it's not too bad tonight. It's about 62 out here, so what's up, Nick? You are number 2. Yeah, I just kind of decided to get on here tonight for a little while. Been kind of redoing some stuff, moving stuff around here in the shop, trying to make some room. Just kind of hanging out tonight and has everybody had a good start to the week? Because I know I haven't. Kind of show you what I've been doing here. See if I can't turn this thing around. This up in here, I get these boards at work, and I've been doing my whole shop, just collecting them, and then I've done the outside, and then I'm going to do the whole inside. I'm going to come all the way across here. I think I'm going to stop it right there, and then I think I'm going to turn them sideways and do a pattern sideways and just kind of mess around with it and just see what I can do. But I got to cut these right here down, and then I'm going to finish it up right in here. What's up, Matt? Showing everybody what I was working on in the shop. Recycling some wood and stuff we get on our pallets of doors and things. I'm ready for the week to be over with already. Yeah, that's what I thought, and most of the time they just throw that stuff out, and they fill up a dumpster pretty quick. I've been taking quite a bit of it home, so I figure not only that, it'll help on insulation. More wood that's on that wall or whatever, it'll help keep the Yeah, it's definitely a Monday. I think I'm gonna look for something else. I don't know. You can tell when something's not right, and that's kind of the way I felt today. I know a lot of the guys are a lot younger than I am and they're more yeah, it's just one of them things that I kind of feel like I don't fit in, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, I just kind of feel like they really don't want to give me a chance. I'm slower, I guess I'm a slow learner than most or whatever, I don't know. Yeah, Robert, I thought that too, but I don't know, it's just one of them things where, you know, I told my wife, you know, especially when they're huddled up and things, and I just, you know, I feel like a fifth wheel or whatever. Yeah, and Matt, you know, I think once you've worked for yourself and that, um, you know, I hate to say it, I'm high strung and I'm opinionated, and I don't think that, you know, they've got their ways of doing things, and, you know, sometimes I see things, you know, how to do things a little bit different, and that don't always work. I don't know, it just, some things are, that, and I miss turning wrenches. You know, this is something that I've not, I don't know, it just don't feel right. You know what I'm saying? You know when something feels right, and this definitely is. Well, and yeah, I like the advantage of there's a check there every week or every other week. Yeah, and that's what I told my wife. I said, you know, Nick or Matt, it's just one of them things. I just want to start the new year off right, you know. I'm just going to chalk this one up as part of 17, and my goal is I'm going to start 18 out with a positive outlook, and you know, I'm gonna look. I'm not gonna quit. You know, I'll let them you know, send me down the road. It's just I get a feeling that, you know, that's not too far off either. You know, it's just um, I don't like to be somebody's guinea pig. I'll just put it that way. Well, and I'm used to some of it, but it's the fact that I don't feel they're giving me ample time to, you know, catch up with them, because most of them's been there 15 or longer, and you know, it's, you know, it just feels like the expectations are a little bit higher, and I understand, you know, going into it that you know, they knew I'd done some fabricating and welding and that, and maybe that's where they thought that, you know, you know, that's why they hired me, because I'd jump right in there, and I have done pretty well, but it's just I don't know. I've got the feeling that, you know, things are just not what they should be. I'll just put it that way. And all I can do is just, you know, go with the flow right now, and just hang in there the best I can. And like I said, you know, I know a lot of them are well, Robert, and that's, you know, I kind of thought that too, because, you know, that's what I told my wife. I was three and a half years or so on my own, and you know, I got out of the work. You know, I've worked for other factories. I worked for two other factories for 15, 16 years, so it's not that I just kind of wonder if, like I told her, you know, if I'm maybe set in my ways, or I see, I just see a lot that, my surroundings, I don't know, there's a lot that could be different, and they could train people a little bit different, but you know, that's, and it's a small company, and I understand they have their way of doing things, but how's it going, Gary? Yeah, everybody does want to be the chief, and no Indians. And you know, I've always been one that I'll pester you to death if I want to know something, and I'll ask a lot of questions, and it just seems like it aggravates them. You know, I hate to be a nuisance, but if I want to know something, I'm gonna ask. You know, I'm not gonna stand around and you know, you may have to tell me a couple times before I get it. You know, I'm thick-headed that way. And sometimes I wonder, you know, if that, you know, isn't because I'm from the older generation, and maybe, you know, they just assume that I should know. But like I said, this is all new to me. This isn't what I'm used to fabricating. Yeah, Robert, but there's there's other aspects there. I'm not going to go into detail, but you know, when you know you're part of the group, or when you're on the outside looking in, and I know I'm sometimes hard on myself because, you know, I want to learn it. I want to, you know, I think I should know it right now too. But it's just one of them things that, you know, a lot of jobs have their little cliques, and like I said, it's a small company, and you know, there's certain people that you know you fit in with, and who you don't, and you know, sometimes. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, and that's what I think where my problem is they have a precedent on how they do things, and that's the only way, and it's hard to go back working for the man, you know. And I knew it was going to be a challenge for me. But I'm not, you know, like I told my wife, if I don't like it now, you know, in the last month and a half, and a lot of different things bother me. You know, even when I work for myself, when I weld and stuff, I would, you know, have a fan or something, but they're, in my opinion, is they don't have good ventilation. You know, a lot of galvanized is floating in the air. You can see it. The other day I got sick, come home, and I'm thinking it was galvanized poisoning is what I think it was, because the doors are shut and you've got two small fans that's, you know, pulling it out, and there's 4 of us welding, plus, you know, a couple of them was doing some Bondo on a door, you know, trying to fix it. and just all the smells in there in a closed-in environment. It just one of them things that it can't be good for you. Yeah, I did. When I come home, that's why I come home is, there was no vending machine there to where I could get any milk. So, what's up, Mr. J? It's just one of them things that I don't know. I'll get through it. It's just one of them deals. Yeah, Matt, the ventilation sucks. And in my opinion, excuse me, where a lot of the stuff that we're doing there's been a lot of different things that I've seen that they could change, but and I understand they're a small company in that, and they're doing quite well, but I do get distracted, Jay. I get distracted very badly, and then I forget my train of thought. Yeah, that's kind of, well, and that's what I told my wife. I said, I don't know if I'm going to make it, because I just kind of was in a spot where I kind of overheard, a couple of them talking, and, it almost seemed like they were talking about me, and once they seen me, they had, when somebody's talking about you, they hush up or whatever. And like I told her, I was about ready to walk over there and ask him, if you got a problem with me, let me know up front. I can find something else. I was looking when I found this one, so. And that's what I told her also on the health aspect of it. If it's gonna give me health problems, I really don't need it. I am a country boy. I will survive. And right now there's we've got so many different new companies. I'd even thought we've got a children's hospital, and I'd thought about getting on maintenance there just to see if I could. It's supposed to be opening up pretty soon, so and I know with my credentials, it's not bragging or anything like that, but I know I could be making a lot more money than they're paying me, so. And that's what, I'm just, I'm to the point where I'm not going to settle. I'm not going to, I don't know, it just, sometimes I feel like I'm too easy going, and I let people push me around, and I'm to the point, like I told my wife, I said I'm to the point where I just I'm fed up. You know, I feel that I've got something to offer. I got, you know, and that's what I'm thinking, Matt. You know, if I get back into the maintenance field, I know hourly I could be making a lot more. It's just one of them things that uh, I could jump into this. A buddy had told me about it. They needed somebody, which I can see why. I think a lot of it is they're set in their ways and they have their own little clique or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. It's just one of them things that, like I said, I'm going to start out 18 my way. I'm not going to look back at 17 and say, you know, oh, what a crappy year and that. I'm just going to keep my head up and go for it. And if it takes me 2 or 3 jobs, or, you know, like I said, I will survive one way or another. And I have been doing a little research around here on, there's not very many people that do a lot of lawnmowers and tractors and things like that. And, you know, I can do just about anything. Well, Gary, that's the only thing you can. You know, I've been knocked down so many times. I know what it is getting back up. So, you know, it don't matter. And I come back out fighting, and I get a little bit meaner each time. So. Oh, I know there is, Jay. And I've got plenty of talent. And that's, you know, I think that's where I'm at. I can see where you know when somebody's sitting back there kind of giving you the horse laugh or whatever. And that's what I told my wife. I said, you know, I guarantee I have, you know, the way I hate to say it, but I think the oldest is 29 there, 29 or 39. You know, I have way more talent. You know, they may be smarter on some things, but I guarantee if they've had the school of hard knocks like I have, I guarantee they'd be sitting there crying in their beer. And that's just the way I feel, you know. And I'm not putting their age down or anything by no means. It's just I don't know. I do a lot of soul searching, a lot of yeah, Jay, that's the whole thing. I think that's what really irritated me because, I just had to back off because, I almost went over and I'm kind of a lot like you. I was about ready to jump in the middle of them and, just, and really I just, it was one of them things. I just kind of kept to myself today and kind of backed off and just, it's bad, and I think 90% of them, that's only been their job. Um, well, and that's it. I've kind of had the hard way, and I don't I don't think any of them. I think in one in particular, he's had it pretty rough, and I helped him out. I brought him out here to the shop and fixed his truck for him for nothing. And like I told my wife, I said he's standoffish with the other guys, but I think he knows something's up there, and he's just he's not saying a whole lot, which that's fine. But I can see where they kind of shun him too, and I think he's just he's surviving, and I think he's afraid to take sides, I guess, because once I'm out of the picture, I think I think they do gang up on him, or they because if I know that every now and then I'll catch them talking about him behind his back, so I know if they're doing that with him, they're doing it with me, which I have no problem with that. But like I told the one, I said, if you've got something to say, don't be afraid to come up and tell me and say it. You ain't gonna like what I have to say in return, and it might get me in trouble. But that's just the way I am, and I think they're learning that, and that may be part of the problem. Pretty opinionated, and I think I tell it like it is. Well, you didn't show me that way, or you may have to show me more than once. It's not rocket scientists, no, but some of us are slower learners than others too, or you forget throughout the week or the day or whatever. And I don't need a smart mouth kid telling me, or what I call talking down to me. That just goes over me like a dose of salt. Oh, I know for a fact that I used to have a boss that he'd love to stir the pot. And me and another guy were the only two. That's why they had to get rid of both of us, is because he told us we were the bad apples because we were opinionated. we'd tell him like it was. We'd be the ones that stirred up. And most of the time I wouldn't back down. I hear you, Jay. It's just one of them. We don't want to spend it in jail, Jay, but I'm not doing much for Christmas either. I don't know. It's just aggravating. Like I said, I know went back to work and all, and it's just been one of them things that I thought I was heading in the right direction, but it's just another stepping stone. Yeah, a lot of people saying that, but it'll just be around the corner once again. But it always does better talking to you guys. Because you guys don't sugarcoat things. It's sometimes hard to... I don't like to bring it home and you know, talk too much with the wife and that, because I know she has her job and her problems and things, and I don't want to bring her down, because right now she's doing well. She's got a promotion and things, and I think, you know, that's going to help some of the stress level here, I think, because she'd been putting in a lot of hours and things, and now she can kind of have a sigh of relief. It's just one of them things that How's it going, Roy? It's not a loss yet, but it's just one of them to be expected things. I knew what I was getting into kind of when I took it. Yes, it is, Matthew and Jay. And that may be part of it too, because this is the first Christmas without Dad. I don't know if I showed you guys. It was nice of the funeral company, but they had a little Christmas deal they sent me, and you know, I know it's Mom's first Christmas, and I know she thinks that I'm being hateful, but it's just one of them things that I can't bring myself to let my sister come out over for Christmas, because she don't much care for my wife, and I know I've irritated or pissed her off at, you know, just before Dad had passed away. You know, she had said something to me at the hospital when I'd called her to tell her, and that he'd passed, and you know, she basically called me a liar, and I just hung up on her. And that, you know, kind of hurt more than anything, for her to, you know, come out and say that. You know, why would I lie to something like that? And then, you know, the fact that I didn't call her till I told my mom, I said, you're going to have to be the one to call her and tell her, because I'm done with her. You know, I've tried 2 or 3 times. I said she's treated my wife like crap. I'm sorry, I'm done with her. You know, and I know that upset my mom, because I think she thought that everything was okay. And like I told her, I said, it's not okay. I don't want her here for Christmas. I said, if you want to have Christmas with her, I'll take you over there, or, you know, we can go someplace and eat, but I'm sorry, she's not welcome in my house. I'm not going to put my wife through it. I'm not going to, you know, I'm just not going to put up with it. And I think between that and the job and stuff, it's just been one of them weeks or months, or just the rest of the into a year that's been a real roller coaster, I guess I can say it, put it that way. Yeah, and I've got a buddy that every now and then I and him will talk about it and that, and he, you know, sometimes he'll you know, he brings me back to light. I'll put it that way. But this thing is something that, like I told my mom, you know, I'll have to you know, work through it and that. And she's like, well, what happens if she needs you for something, or what, you know, if I'm gone and that. And I said, well, you know, that's something we'll have to cross. You know, I'm just, you know, I'm tired of being the punching bag. And she's always done that, you know, and I was always the one that would give in, you know, grin and bear it, or whatever. And I told my mom, I said, I'm sorry, you know, I know it's, in your opinion, it's probably not the Christian thing to do, but, you know, that works both ways. You know, I've forgive her plenty of times, and I said, has she even forgive me or said she was sorry? I said, I've never heard her say that she was sorry. And this time, you know, the stuff that had happened, I can't, you know, and I know I'm right, because, you know, I just I know my dad is sitting back there saying, way to go, way to go, hold your ground. And he told me before he'd passed, I think he knew that his time was. He told me, he said, you're going to have some challenges and some fights ahead of you. He said, because he says, he said your mom is pretty thick with your sister, and she can crap on your mother all the time, and she lets her get by with it. And it proves it with her doctor's appointments. It's when my sister wants to go. She's canceled several doctor's appointments. What's up, Carmack? Sorry, I got distracted, but it's just, I don't know. I guess that's why I like getting on here. I can talk to you guys, and I know some of you guys have the same problems and the same challenges, and we all kind of are therapy for each other. It's just been a fun roller coaster ride this last year, and I guess sometimes I take things a little too personal, but I've been crapped on so many times by her that I can't let it go. I know when I got that ornament, it kind of I got it from the guy at the cemetery, or where they prepare the bodies and things. He'd asked me to stop by to pick it up, and he had me pick the one. And when I gave it to Mom, she kind of totally lost it, and I didn't even read it at the funeral home. And then I come out here one day and kind of read it, and, where I was to myself. But I seen why it got to her, and she, it brought back memories, and I know she wanted the family or the rest of us to be together this Christmas. But like I told her, I said, I just can't do it. I said, she may say something, and I said, in my house, I said, you've seen me voice my opinion, and I said it would not be a good thing, especially if she'd say something to my wife. I said I would. It's just one of them deals. And it's just, I guess it's something I got to work through. But and I envy people that can be close to their siblings and things, but me and my sister have never been really that close. Well, that's a new story in itself, Jay. I can tell you. And she was the only one that was ever there for me when every one of them pretty much is, I'll just put it this way, they kind of shunned me for a while, I'll put it that way. and that's a whole nother story. But it was when I was younger, and me and my dad had some knockdown dragouts when me and my wife got together, and you know, we made ends meet towards the last, and I let him, you know, let him know straight up what the problem was. And I said, it's always been my sister. I said, she's been jealous of my wife. You know, she's achieved things, you know, she set goals. And my sister was always there to try to tear her down. And I told him, I said, I'm not gonna, it's not gonna happen. And of course, you know, Dad would take her side until I, you know, there was one time I think I even got mad, and well, I know I did. I was about 16, 17, and I just told him, I said, well, I said, she moved down here with me. I think I'm just going to move into an apartment. We'll get by. You know, they even threatened to change the locks, and I'm like, you know, there's nothing that you have that I want, and you know, if you don't trust me that much, you know, I guess I don't, you know, for a long time, there was about a year there I didn't come around. And, you know, there's a lot there that aggravates me because, you know, I had to, Dad and I got it talked out. Mom would have never, she never, she always took my sister's side. I just, I don't know, that's one thing that it would push my button every time, especially when, you know, my wife moved to Arkansas with us. I agree, Jay, and like I said, I knew she was the one. You know, she's my high school sweetheart, and you know, that's it was hard to go up against my dad sometimes. You know, I knew that, but you know, I still wasn't gonna sit there and let her take the blunt of it. You know, she was paying her way. She was, you know, more so than my sister, and I let that be known. And that's probably why I moved out of the house, because you know, I just wasn't going to put up with it. I just and you know, somebody said something against my wife or whatever, I'll be in their crap in a minute. That's just, well, and that's, you know, I have friends and things, and I told a buddy of mine that I really respect him because he's raised his boys. You know, they all, when you go over there at Christmas or anything, it was, hey, I love you, or they would tell each other they loved each other before they leave, or you know, they're all self-employed. They work for their dad, and you know, the boys will say, hey Dad, I love you. And I told him, I said, I envy that, because I never, it's not that I wanted it, but, and Dad would once in a while say, hey, I love you. But, to really truthfully, have a good relationship with your father, your brothers, your sisters, you need to cherish that, because, that's one thing that I never, you manned up, you done what you had to do, and, you maybe got a pat on the back, but, it was expected of you to do what you were doing, whether it was bucking hay, whether it was mowing the yard, whether it was, whatever, that was expected of you. And, I don't know, it's just been one of them roller coaster rides with me and her anyway. I just, but on a lighter note, now that I got that off my chest, yeah, and that's what I'm thankful for. I thank the Lord every day for that. We've been through a lot together. And, it, I think about it quite often, we've endured a lot. I mean, and, even with the business and other things, she stuck right in there with me, and she's been a trooper, and I don't know. I often wondered what, well, David, yeah, that's the whole thing, and I don't know how many wives would have put up with their mom moving in, with them, and but we have to do what we have to do, and that's the whole thing, Roy. That's one thing I made up my mind, and I've seen a lot of guys not stand up to their own dads with their wives and things, and that was one thing that, and I think my dad respected me in that aspect, because I did, but it took a lot of years, because like I said, when I was younger, I and him had some pretty good knockdown dragouts. And of course, you know, when you're young like that, you think you've got the world by the tail, and you know everything, and you're invincible. And sometimes I have to look back and tell myself, you know, well, and that's one thing I told her, you know, because she kept, you know, wanting even to get an apartment. And I told her, I said, there's just, I don't see. Sorry about that, guys. Hopefully I'm back. I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what the heck. Somebody trying to get a hold of me or call. What's up, David? Miss H&H, how are you? I've done some hydro dipping on the side. I used to do the custom car accessories, things like that. There's so many here right now, and from what I'm seeing, they're dropping like flies. It's just, there's just too much competition. And a lot of people are doing it themselves, you know. You can't see me. How about now? Well, I'm right there with you, David. No, I don't know. It's just been, like I said, this last year, it's going to be behind me, and I'm going to, that's why I say with the job and all, I think I'll just chalk it up as experience, move on, and I just look for something else and hope for the best. Yeah, check some of them out. I've done you know, I've got that valve cover I've hydro dipped. That valve cover back there I've hydro dipped. This gun here I've hydro dipped. I don't know if you can see it. This is mine. Here's another one I've done. Oh, Mrs. H&H, you'll like this one. I gotta put it back together, but it's supposed to be for my wife, but I'm liking it so well, I may keep it. I need to get back into doing some of it before I forget how to do it. Yeah, that's purple. There's just about every color imaginable that you could can do it. That same color you can, I think it's what they consider a multi-color. You know, you can pick any color to do it. But I think the purple looks the best in it. You know where Springdale is? That's where I'm at. I'm not real sure how far I am, David. I think it's maybe an hour, if that, hour and a half. I'm not real sure. Yeah, just holler at me and I'd be glad to see some of you guys from... I've threatened to just jump in my truck and go see Jay sometime. Yeah, Jay, I think I'm only 4 hours, if that, 4.5. I'm not real sure. Now, if I take the Challenger, it's a little less. Yeah, I done a set of wheels for a guy that plasti dipped his. I ended up charging him more to take because I had to spend it was about 4 hours to get the plastic dip off of his tires. Or I should say off of his wheels that I done. I don't know. Hopefully I won't lose you guys. I'll turn this around. Some of you guys have seen this, some of you haven't. These are some of the wheels that I've done. And then somebody told me you couldn't do a flywheel. I done a flywheel. I've done an oil pan. So, I mean, I don't know if you can see this valve cover back here very well. That's the one hanging on the wall. I've never tried to do a rifle barrel. I've thought about doing this one gun back here because it's just an old one that, you know, is not worth a whole lot, but I've really never done a rifle barrel. David, sometimes it's, you know, like I said, I went to school for it. I had an idea. It's just one of them things I wished would have taken off a little bit better. I'm learning. I work with a guy that's he's kind of giving me some tips on how to do it on the internet or whatever, but I've got so many different patterns and things. Yeah, sometimes you just, that's one thing that most of mine is trial and error. I learned a lot of it on my own. Of course, my first car I painted with an old hippie guy, so he pretty much turned me loose. And the rest is history. You know, I learned a lot on my own, or went to school, or just trial and error. I'm a jack of all trades, a master of none. I can weld it, I can wire it, I can paint it, I can strip it, I can... And if I had my way, I'd, much as I hate to say it, I think I'd go back to running my own shop or business or whatever. I'm doing it out of here part-time, but I'd like to see it start paying the bills, you know. Yeah, I thought about doing some videos on different things like that. I was going to comment, David, but I just chose not to. Did you choke on something, Roy? Do I own any old cards? Well, guys, do I tell him? Yes, I have a 72 Camaro. I have a 49 Chevrolet Fleetline. I've chopped the top 3 inches on, and I have a 2014 Dodge Challenger that I've done the Joker theme. And if I won't lose you guys, hopefully I could walk out here and show you. But sometimes I go past this paint room and I lose. Let me go out here and turn on the light. I don't know if you can see Old Purple. Hopefully you guys will stay there and you won't fall. Hold on 1 second. There is my baby. I've hydro dipped all that back there. Done all the lighting work. Done all that. Just finished this up not too long ago. That is a 2014 Dodge Challenger. 2 years or last year. Yeah, last year me and my wife sat down and counted. We won 14 trophies. You know, the time that I had my business and that. It's an RT. Yeah, it's an RT. That's one thing that, you know, at least I can say I worked my tail off to get it, and you know, that's one reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, because, you know, that's. And then I've got a 72 Camaro. You can get on my Facebook page and look on some of that stuff. Mopar or no car, that's right. But I'm a big Joker fan, and I just figured I'd do the Joker theme on it. That's what the whole car is. I've even changed the badging. It says Joker edition on it. It's got pictures of the Joker on the side and things. On the horn button, it's got the Joker. Right now you can't see the 49. It's dark out there. I've thought about starting to do some videos of me restoring it or going. It's pretty rough shape. It's set out there for about 4 or 5 years now. Yes, I've got, they're in the car. I just sold a Chevrolet Vega, and it may be on my Facebook too when I'd got it running and stuff. It was just one of them things that sat, and I needed to add on to the shop here. And there's a young man that come, and he wanted the car really, really bad. I could tell. His dad made him, you know, came with him, made him do the deal. And, you know, he didn't really Jew me a whole lot. So I started throwing in some extra parts and things. And he was, you know, I give him 2 or 3 carburetors I had here. I give him, you know, a couple of wiring harnesses, a couple of things that I thought or that I knew that he could probably sell to help him out. Yeah, it had a V8 in it. It would scare the fire out of you. I had it sideways a couple times. It was an old Cosworth Vega. They'd blowed the motor up in. I wished I'd have got the motor, but put a V8 in it. Dual exhaust. It sounded. We put a lumpity lump cam in it. Put a gear drive in it. It sounded pretty tough car. I mean, it was fun to play with, but it was just time for it to go. And that's what I basically built the shop here with. I added on to my shop, added a paint room, and then this office area. So The one I really miss, I had my first car I ever chopped the top on was a Model A, 31 Model A coupe. Um, Paid $300 for it. When I brought it home, my wife was with me. She's like, I can't believe you bought a rust bucket. Um, Within a month and a half, I had it a rolling chassis. Once again, hard times come, so I sacrificed the car. I also had a uh, 89 Isuzu pickup that I chopped the top and leaned it back, and then I cut the back of the wall, how them were, they had the ripples in it. I cut it all out and made it smooth to where a speaker box would fit back there. Got it all. It was close to running, driving, and I ended up pulling the motor out, putting it in a 48, kept the 48, and nobody wanted the truck, couldn't sell it, and we were moving out here to this house, and I had 3 cars as it was, and I just, I had to sacrifice the car, or the truck. I usually call a couple of mine flower pots. The 72's got a built 454 in it. That one I've thinking about doing some videos this summer on it. Shoot, I got 454 sitting here. I've got a built 305 that I think I built it to a 307. I think there's another 327 block sitting out there on a shelf. Well, I got it covered in the weather, but yeah, I think that's what I should have done. Put some money back, and that's what I want. Carmack 69, yes, Dodge Charger. I know where one's at. I even offered to trade my Camaro straight across for it, but I know where one of them is too, Roy, a Roadrunner. Yeah, it's got a nice body, but it needs some serious front, and I think it was one of them that had the old vinyl top to where it let it leak down into the trunk, and the trunk in that's pretty rough shape. Roy, what are you saying? What year's the engine? Which one? Yeah, I'd thought about pulling the, because I could get some serious money out of that 454 that's in my Camaro. It come out of a truck. The other 327 a buddy had, well, it and the 454 come out of truck. And the 327 was laying upside down, and it sat out there so long that the oil pan had rusted all the way through, and I just rolled it up on my trailer and brought it to the house. It had the double hump heads on it. I pulled them off, started cleaning them up, and a guy come along and offered me $300 and some for the heads, and I jumped all over it. Yeah, David, I know, 10 miles per gallon, if you're lucky. But they are fun to drive. The 68 is what they call the first gen, I believe, and the 72 is second gen, so yeah, they've changed a lot. 72 to 73, and then from 74 on is the they didn't have, they changed a lot. You and me both, David. If I won the lottery, all three of them cars would be pristine. I think I've had just about every different type of car imaginable, car or truck imaginable. Yeah, I do too, David. I don't, maybe once in a blue moon I'll buy a ticket. Yeah, that's me. I'm not, and maybe that's why I don't win nothing is, all right, David, see ya. The only way I know how to grow money is the wrong way, and in some states you can do that. I'd like to have a couple million anyway. I guess if you're gonna wish for it. Yeah, several million. My wife tells me I can go through 2 million in a couple months. She knows me quite well. I'd have half of it spent on the Snap-on truck. Matt, you and my luck are about dead on. Wife's letting the bulldog out to go potty. It's funny, that dog, if I'm not in the house, usually I'll go closet and hide. Won't come out unless I'm there. Well, guys, I think I am going to call it quits. 5 o'clock or 4:45 comes pretty early. Yeah, Roy, that's about right. 3s and 4s. Or you think you're ahead of the game and then something comes along and well, guys, I'm glad you stopped in tonight. Like I said, I gotta go do some other chores and things, so I'm gonna get off of here and we will see you in the next live feed, or I may try to do another video this week. I haven't decided. Glad y'all stopped in. We got to chat, or you guys got to listen to me. It's good to hear and read from y'all and see y'all and whatever. And thanks again, guys.